I revere his record. I mean, what he's done in 3 years has been a masterclass, all because of Biden's wisdom, because of his temperance, his capacity to lead in a bipartisan manner, which is an underrepresented point. So the answer is absolutely all in terms of the next 4 years of Joe Biden. It's because of his age that he's been so successful. So the opportunity to express that for 4 more years, what a gift it is for the American people.
Wow, what a gift he is to Joe Biden. California Governor Gavin Newsom defending the president on a whole lot of issues and then some. And then he said, here's some advice.
Trump says he's ready to debate Biden right now. Should President Biden debate?
Of course he's
Trump?
not. I mean,
but should President Biden debate Trump in the general?
Biden beat Trump in the prior debates. I look forward. I mean, this is a guy. By the way, that's just pure 100%.
So hard just to get a basic answer, huh? Recent polls show an overwhelming number of voters are worried about the president's mental fitness for a second term. And that includes 71% of Democrats. And when it comes to debates, the Wall Street Journal editorial board with this take: Trump forfeits the debate stage by refusing to take on Nikki Haley. He is giving Biden an easy out. Ari Fleischer, Fox News contributor, former White House press secretary. Ari, what are your thoughts on the two of them on a debate stage?
Well, first of all, listening to Gavin Newsom makes me think that he's auditioning for Karine Jean-Pierre's job.
Oh, I think he wants something more than that.
Joe Biden is doing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
I think Admiral Kirby probably has that in hand.
His age makes him even more qualified. An 82 to 86-year-old? Yeah, that's a great qualification to become president of the United States. Look, I mean, it's one thing to salute the flag. It's another when the flag is barely flying for you to say that it's a beautiful flag. Ooh. And that's the case with Joe Biden. I understand the Democrats need to support him, but everybody is being realistic other than Gavin Newsom. Joe Biden is a weak, wounded, old candidate who really is a threat to America because of his memory loss. That's the biggest problem. He can't even remember the briefings he's had about Hamas, about withdrawal from Afghanistan. It's impacting policy. Gavin Newsom's in denial. He's been in denial about everything politically in California. He's in denial about national politics.
Well, he was in denial during the COVID lockdowns in his state that maybe he shouldn't go to a 2-star Michelin restaurant while everybody else couldn't leave their houses. I mean, he does what he wants. So the question is, what does he want? I doubt it's press secretary, although you proved that it's an important job and can be done masterfully. President Biden, again, though, to your point, is now sparking some fresh concerns about his acuity. And he butchered a quote from Abraham Lincoln. Watch.
He said, and I want to make sure I get the quote exactly right. He said, the better angels, he said, we must address the council and adjust the better angels of our nature. And we do well to remember what else he said. He said, we're not enemies, but we're friends. It's in the part of the Civil War.
After that speech, he had to rely on his handler to tell him what to do next.
Okay. I'm right here.
Yes, Mr. President, you have found yourself. You're right there. I know.
You know, Harris, what's so sad about watching this is he's done this many times before successfully. He just doesn't remember how to organize the toast anymore, to lead the toast for the National Governors Association. It's not his first time doing it, but he doesn't remember. This is what happens to you when you get older. It's not the senility, it's not the occasional verbal fumbles where he doesn't remember somebody's name. It's his increasing lack of memory. And the reason I stress that is because when you're the president, nothing is more important than your ability to recollect the various briefings you've heard from your team. When your team advises you, Mr. President, this is a matter of life and death, and you need to do A. You know, Mr. President, you need to do B. No, Mr. President, I think you need to do C. A president has to digest divergent briefings from smart people with different points of view and make a decision. If he can't remember what he's being told, how can he make good decisions?
You know,
that's the problem with old age, and that's the problem with his presidency.
So 81, right now as a candidate, 82 to 86, as you pointed out, across his 4 years, should he win a second term. Those numbers don't necessarily mean you go down that road of losing everything acuity-wise. So I put less emphasis on the number, and I do exactly what the President of the United States told us to do, Ari. I watch what he does and what he communicates. And as he's showing us how he's handling things at home that are emergencies, it takes him 3 years to actually, now we're hoping he's going to get to see the border, because last time it was so forensically clean for him in El Paso, you couldn't find anybody who'd come over the border.
Yeah, no, that'll be a big event, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does on that front. And this is a great opportunity for Donald Trump. But, you know, the other opportunity for Donald Trump is Joe Biden loves to use the line his father told him, or somebody told him, don't compare me to the almighty, compare me to the alternative. Well, that can now be Donald Trump's line. Don't compare me to the almighty, compare me to the alternative. And the alternative is soon to be 82-year-old Joe Biden. And this is why Joe Biden can lose. This is why Donald Trump can win. This is why Nikki Haley could win. Joe Biden is the weakest Democratic candidate the Democrats could possibly put up. And I don't know why Gavin Newsom is saying what he's saying other than for feigned loyalty, but everybody can see that weakness in Joe Biden. And in the video clips you play, they're only going to get worse between now and November.
The debate. I asked Brian Kilmeade this question. What could that look like? What would you want to see it look like? Could it be done in front of a live audience?
There's not going to be a debate. Joe Biden's team won't even put him out to answer questions. Why would he go out there and engage in an actual, real, spontaneous debate with Donald Trump in the early evening, in the nighttime? He can't do it. He's not capable of doing it. So there is not going to be a debate. And we saw that last cycle, too, where many gubernatorial and Senate candidates started to not debate their opponents. It's a step backward for democracy, because these debates are some of the healthiest parts of deciding who we're going to vote for. We deserve to see our president and our nominees in action. But we especially deserve to see the president in action. And since we're starved of seeing him throughout the year because the White House staff shields him, a debate is even more important. But I have no illusions that the Democrats will put Joe Biden on a stage.
Well, I threw in that live audience part because we see him in front of live groups of people every day, and it is a simple struggle. I mean, it's just baseline struggle for him. Great to see you. And always, always remember the job you did when you were in the White House. Again, Gavin Newsom couldn't touch you. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.